Hello Javaites! Welcome to this video on user input. Today we're going to be talking about the first exercise from your, not doing calculations, from your user input document. We will be using your program from doing calculations to do that, but the idea and the focus of today is on user input. We have two different methods, so I'm going to do in this first video, I will be using method 1 using scanner, and then when we move on, I will make a second video using our second method of JOptionPane next. Alright, so we are going to make a new program, so I've made a new class that's called scanner example, and we're going to type inside of our main method. Our job is to yours will be to find your program from doing calculations. Given that I don't have that program, we're going to build it from scratch right now. We're going to prompt the user for 3 integers, save them into variables A, B, and C, and then we're going to do some calculations and display the results. So that means I'm going to want to have integers A, B, and C, and not save any values into them for the moment. I'm also going to want to create a scanner variable so that I can get the input from the user. So I'm going to say scanner, and I'm going to call mine keyboard, and that will be a new scanner object for us. And we say system.in to tell ourselves, or to tell the computer, go look on the console. That's what we mean by system, and you're looking for an input. Alright, so now that we have our keyboard set up, that is the variable name that we are going to use to then put in all of our dot commands for our scanner object. Remember, we have 3 dot commands that we can use depending on what type of variable we are getting. And our first step to ask for user input using scanner is to print out a statement to ask a question. So give me a number. Give me a whole number. How about? Oops. Stay in there. Go away, sleeves. Get in the way of my programming. Give me a whole number. And then what we want to do is we will want to save that value into a variable. So we're going to say that'll be our first variable. We will save the value of it, and we will call on our keyboard to go get the next integer that appears that will save the value of the input into the variable A. And then we'll do that again 2 more times. Okay, another number. And we will save that one into our variable B, and we'll say keyboard.nextInt again. And then finally, and a third one. And we'll save that one into variable C. Now, what this has done is it says the value that the user types in, keyboard, go get that value from the console. It will be displayed down here. I'm telling the computer it is going to be an integer, so expect it to be an integer, make it of data type int, and save that number right here into this variable A. So in the same way that I can say in 2 lines int number, and then num equals 7, we are essentially doing the second line of num equals 7. However, the value that we're saving is something that is coming from the user. So we have a sneaky command that we have to do there. All right. So now that I have all of these pieces, I have to do a little bit of work. So now what I'm likely going to want to do is have a sum, product, and average variable. So I'm going to add in those as well. So I'll have sum, product, and average. We know that it's possible that when we take the average of these 3 numbers, we will get a decimal answer. So I'm going to make average be a double for myself. And now I'm going to do some calculations. So now I will say sum, and that should be equal to A plus B plus C. Now, if you notice, as I'm typing these out, I am putting spaces in between my plus signs and each letter. That is only for my own readability. That is not necessary for Java. For product, I'm going to say A times B times C to multiply them all together. And for average, Well, for average, I can actually use the sum because that's adding them all up, and then I will divide by 3 to do that, and then I will print out some print statements to say the sum of A, B, and C is, and then I will put the sum. I want to put a comma into this one so it'll list them out better. There we go. And then I'm going to say the exact same thing, and I'm going to copy and paste because I'm going to be a lazy programmer for the moment. And I'm going to change this to say the product of A, B, and C is, and then make this say product. And then one more time, we're going to print this out, and we will say the average of A, B, and C is, and we will print out the average. All right, let's try it out as it is, and we'll go back and fix some errors if we have any, and we need to talk about some stuff. So I'm going to run this program, and now we'll need to interact with the console because we're doing a user input. So it says, give me a whole number. So we'll say 12 and hit enter. And then it says another whole number, and we'll say 3. And a third one, we will say 7. And we'll hit enter. And then it tells me that the sum of 12, 3, and 7 is 22, which it is. The product of them is 252. I'm going to trust the computer on that one. And then the average of 12, 3, and 7 is 7.0. Now, as it is right now in this moment, when we add all 3 of these numbers up, we get 22. If I take 22 and I divide that by 3, it should not be 7 exactly, which means right now I am doing some integer division. Yes, average is a double for us. That's why it's putting the decimal places in there. However, because both sum and this value 3 are integers for me, we're going to have to do some work. So we have 2 options. We can either cast sum to be a double, or we will force this 3 to be a double. So let's try it that way first. 12, 3, and 7. Gotta remember those numbers so we can control some stuff as we're looking through these. So an easy fix there, because this 3 is actually supposed to be hard-coded. We're talking about an average. I know that I'm asking for 3 numbers. I don't need to make a new variable there. I just made that variable a double by putting 0.0 on it. And now your computer recognizes integer divided by double. That should be a decimal, and we'll actually put the full decimal, and we'll get rid of the integer division. The other option would be right here to cast our sum to be a double. And you can do that like this with the parentheses. But either of the two will help get rid of that integer division. And that is how we do user input with Scanner. Stay tuned for the next video to see how to do it with J option.